first and foremost, just really excited for the players and our team, obviously, and the program. All three of them are tremendous young men, great student athletes who had phenomenal years for us. And I don't know if this is ever going to happen again, just because of the draft rules and the age they're at, and obviously the high-end talent that these three individuals have. But just really excited for them and their family that they get to experience this. And it's also very nice for our program. We're thrilled and honored that we have them here at Michigan, and we'd like to see them for another year if we can.
That's an area that I'll get to in regards to Owen Power momentarily. But you've seen so many of these guys going back to your years when you were an assistant coach, associate coach, before you came back to take over the program. So my question is this in regards to these guys, Mel. What's unique? What is special, maybe different about these guys in terms of to get to this point? It was a little bit of a different road for them, I suppose, fair to say, with COVID and those things. But what stands out in your mind about what's different and unique about these guys?
Well, first and foremost is they're all young. I mean, they all came in, at such a young age, and to perform at the level they did in a pandemic, in a COVID year like they did, I think speaks volumes to the type of people they are, the character they have, the perseverance that they showed this year to overcome a lot of different obstacles to get to the position they were in. There is a lot of pressure, Ben, when you're playing hockey in your draft year, whether they feel it or not. It's we have all these rankings and everybody's talking about, who's going to be the first pick in the draft and, where are these guys ranked. So they dealt with that right from day one all year. And I thought they just did a tremendous job, especially on the ice around their teammates and how they handled it. The thing about them is they're all different players too. I mean, each one of them, is very unique in how they play and what they bring to the game.
For the coach now, what's it like coaching guys like this? And you've been around a lot of them, but what's it like when you're running the show and you're calling the shots and you have all this talent, Mel? What's your approach when you have this kind of talent on your team?
Well, we're in the development business. Obviously, we have to make sure that we continue to help develop them so that they can realize their goal of playing in the National Hockey League. There's only one puck on the sheet, Ben. The last time I looked, and there's one puck, but you have to share it. We have to get them to play for Michigan. That's the biggest thing. We have to make sure that they're all playing a team game. They're all pieces of the puzzle, and it's up to us as a staff to make sure that we put those pieces together properly and that we have success as a team, but at the same time, they have success as individuals. And that's the big thing. But they're all, good people. They're all driven. They're all good team guys. So we don't anticipate any issues with that. But when you have a number of good players, how do you divide the ice time up? Sharing the puck, playing both ways. There's a lot of things that go into that. So, we'll just take it game by game. We'll see how things go.
And then one last thing. How do you handle the draft? It's not the normal setting still. Hopefully next year we'll get back to that. It's going to be done over video conference. So how's the coach of these guys, the college coach of these guys, how do you manage? You might be as busy as an NHL GM that night, texting and calling, right?
Yeah, well, I tried to figure out how to be in four places, maybe 30 seconds apart, but I guess you can only do that on Star Trek. I haven't figured that out yet. So, but it's difficult because you'd like to be there to celebrate the achievement and the honor that's going to be bestowed upon them here in the draft, each one of them. But obviously we can't. And this year, it's too bad. Would have been awesome to have all those players in one venue and to get drafted. And we've got a couple other incoming freshmen that we expect to get highly drafted as well. So it's going to be a fun night. I'll probably be sitting alone somewhere with my TV watching it. And once that moment happens for each one of them, make sure I try to get through them or text them or whatnot. But it's going to be a special night. And I want to make sure that they just enjoy it with their family and friends, the people who've helped them to get where they are today and the people who are closest to them. And I know they're all going to enjoy this night and never forget it.
25 first-round picks in Michigan's program history. That number soon to be going up, obviously. 15% of the first-round picks out of college have come out of Michigan's program. Incredible achievement. Great moment coming up for your program, Mel. Thanks for doing this. We look forward to seeing you this fall in the winter when your team gets on the ice back at Yost.
For me, my game is kind of like I think people kind of like the consistency. They like my smarts and kind of how hard I work, like kind of game in and game out. So I don't think it's really a pinpoint kind of thing. I think it's almost accumulated over like kind of a long time watching me and kind of seeing how I play, how I'm consistent, responsible, two-way kind of forward and being smart, scoring goals, things like that, and making plays. So I wouldn't say there's much of a pinpoint spot, kind of just a accumulation of a few years.
Fair enough. And you used the phrase two-way guy. The first time I watched you play doing one of your games, I was like, wow. Like you came into Michigan with those kind of things. So where did it start for you? Was it with USA? Was it prior to that, a coach along the way? Or was it you just seeing other guys play saying, I can't just play in the O zone, I got to play in all three zones? Because that's obviously a massive part of your game.
Yeah, I think it's for me, I kind of always say this, my dad coached me and my team. We played for the South Shore Kings for like 9 or 10 years. He coached me, he coached some other guys, Brett Berard, got drafted by the Rangers. His big emphasis was always playing the right way, playing hockey the right way, not cheating the game, playing defense, and then you get to go do the fun stuff. That was always his thing. So he had always put stress on that. And that's kind of how I kind of played the game. That's how I was taught. That's kind of the values that were instilled in me to play the game. And that's how I continued to play the game, I think, as I grew up. I also was always watching Patrice Bergeron. That's how he played. He was one of my favorite players growing up. Watching him, he does the exact same thing. I mean, he's a lot better at it than me, but he's a great player to watch. He just does everything the right way, doesn't cheat the game, and he gets so much offense because of how he plays. So I think it was kind of a combination of those two things.
Hunter Dickinson, his decision.
Yep.
When you saw that, what went through your mind for him to come back? I mean, here's a guy that could play at the next level right now. What are your thoughts? What was your reaction when you saw him earlier this month make that choice?
Yeah, I was excited. He was really good for that team. I think it's gonna be fun to have him back. Yeah, I think just excitement. Excited to see him in the Maize and Blue another year. I'm sure that's leading towards wondering what I'm doing next year.
Right.
But yeah, no, for me, just continue on. I'd love to come back. I think I'm definitely leaning towards that, like Owen said, and I think like Ken would love to as well. I can't definitely speak for them, but for me, I'd love to come back. I'd love to be in Yost with fans. I love my team, coaches. I think Michigan has a lot to offer, especially academically, and just continuing getting better at Michigan. It's a great place to be. It was a lot of fun, but I think there's a lot left on the table after last season. Kind of it ending so soon with COVID and things like that. Not being close to winning the Big Ten championship and not pulling it out. So, I think we got a lot of unfinished business left as a team. We didn't lose too many guys. We were pretty much the same team. So I think it'd be a lot of fun to come back.
You had to have went to games there. I'm sure you played at Yost, so you saw what it's like. That has to factor in, I would think, for you guys, considering the three of you guys, considering what the year was last year with COVID and no fans in the building. Am I right in that? Is that fair to say?
Definitely. I think all of us want to be in Yost with fans. I actually never watched a game there, but I played there. I played there one time. So I played against Michigan. We played them when I was on NCDP. We played probably about 18 games against college teams. There was probably like 100 people in the stands every single game, and we go to Yost and it's sold out. Yep. We actually ended up winning the game, which we didn't win a lot of them, but we won that one. So that was a lot of fun. And after this is actually funny because I was completely committed to Harvard. I wasn't. There was no think of changing at all. Like if COVID never happened, I'd probably still be there. Like I'd be there right now. But actually, after the game, I went up to my dad and I was like, "Whoa, that was sick! Like maybe I should have looked here." So it's crazy that I actually ended up there with everything that happened. But something's happened for a reason.
That's great. Matty, thanks for this. Best to you and your family. Enjoy the moment. I know you will, and you've all worked hard for it. We really appreciate you doing this. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Like in the NFL, you hear about, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? You get any questions like that going through the NHL process, or what are some of the things you could share in terms of questions you've gotten over this process, Ken?
Yeah, definitely some weird ones. I'm glad I never got the tree one, because I have no clue what I'd say to that. I don't really know too many trees even. So, but yeah, definitely some weird ones. Kind of tough for me to think of one right now. But I know there's some like about like putting you in a situation where you're like leading the ship on a war, like on the battlefront and stuff like that. Like just that obviously I have no experience in those situations, so they're a little tough for me to answer.
Curious as to what you've done since the season ended for you and your teammates, like whether it's on, off ice, a combination of both. What kind of things have you done, and in terms of your training and preparation and those things?
Yeah, I think, like after the season, take a couple weeks, and then after that, it's pretty much right into the swing of things. Off ice and on ice training for me, both are pretty important, especially, the off ice for me. Like I'm trying to bulk up, obviously being a skinnier guy. So, those have been fun to get after those. And definitely enjoy doing that during the week.
Yeah. Now this one I may be walking right into, because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you've done the Mike leg move twice in a game, right?
Yeah, 3 times actually.
3 times.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that said, now look, we know playing hockey's more than showing your amazing skill, which you have a ton of, as much as I've seen in any college player in all my years of being around the sport. But all kidding aside, is there a moment maybe you could look back and say, you know what, if I were a GM, I might draft this young guy? Is there anything that fits that mold for you, Kent?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably some nice goals or whatever, but I think it's more like they're just drafting a person, a player that they project to be really good. It doesn't really matter if you've scored a sweet goal in juniors or in college. I think, just more so for me, like how much I love the game and how hard I'm going to work to be able to do what I'm doing now at the next level.
Talk to me about the program at Michigan. And I mentioned the numbers earlier. I'm sure you guys are aware of those numbers. You know, all the guys playing in the league. To me, it's very historic to have 3 guys. You're going to have 4 total, but 3 of you guys that are going to be second-year players to go into the draft, all top 10 guys projected. What's that mean to you, Ken?
Yeah, it's definitely really special. I mean, I think going to Yost every day, like you see all the names and all the history there. It's it's definitely just a really cool spot to play, and to be kind of able to add a bit to that legacy, I guess, is just really special. Can't really put it into words.
Now you've obviously got a few resources that you can rely on, with your brother going 1, with Quinn going 7, your other brother. Words can't probably describe what that is for you to have the resources that you have, but can you try to put that into words to explain what it's like to have 2 brothers already in the show playing?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's more about just having 2 brothers, two role models to have. So, it's super cool to have them playing in the NHL already, and just to have them for advice and talk to them about anything I need, or little things on the ice or just off the ice. So
you've obviously got a really good sense of humor, and you may know where I'm going with this. I was reading some stuff on you guys last night, today, before we taped. Somebody asked you, how are you different from your brother? And you replied with, I'm 6'2" and I can kill penalties. So does that mean Quinn doesn't kill, or he just isn't allowed to kill penalties?
I think he probably could kill. He hasn't killed in his 2 years and playing in the NHL yet, but that was yesterday, and they asked me how am I different. I'm taller than him, so I guess that's where we differ. So that's one difference, but that was pretty funny.
All kidding aside, growing up, the household, hockey's life in the Hughes household, obviously. Can you share some experiences? And you're the younger one, so you may have the better stories here, young man. What was it like growing up, the 3 of you guys all in the same house and playing the great sport of hockey? What stands out for you, Luke?
Yeah, I think there's so many little stories or moments that stand out for you. Just playing mini sticks or on the outdoor rink battling with them. I was always the youngest, so I'd have to battle harder and, play harder. And, they'd stick me in net a lot and playing mini sticks. So, there's so many memories growing up. I think, we were just trying to, grow the passion and, grow our games and trying to get better and just, try to love the game. So, when we were it was awesome growing up with them and having two older brothers and just to battle with and show me the ropes. So,
well, give me your opinion and your feelings on what it means to Michigan's program, number one, to the Big Ten, and to the sport of college hockey to have the four of you guys all together to be part of this. It's going to be a historic moment. What's it mean to you and your family, Luke?
Yeah, it means a ton. I think, the other three guys are, really good players. And, it's also going to be crazy because it's the 99th year at Michigan hockey program next year. So, that's going to be really cool. And to be on the 99th team and, maybe the 100th team too. So, it's going to be an honor and it's going to be super cool to play with those guys and, wear the Michigan crest.
Let's go back to when you were little, and I don't know that you've been little a whole lot in your entire life at 6'6", but when did the dream for you start? I mean, we talked with Kent Johnson, and I know, look, there's so many Americans that are drafted now. I don't mean any slight that way, but as Canadians, you guys grow up, and that's part of most of you. That's part of your dream. Can you think back to when that dream first hit you, or somebody might have said to you, hey, you got a shot to play in the NHL, kid?
Yeah, I think it's always been a dream. Ever since I started playing hockey, it's something that I wanted to do, but I don't think I kind of realized I had a chance of doing it until probably my minor midget year, and when I was just playing locally here. That's kind of where I think I kind of realized that I have a pretty good shot of making my dream come true. So I think that's probably when I realized I could have a shot.
Strengths, weaknesses. Describe to me what you feel. Give me a couple of each, both sides. What do you feel first are your strengths and then your weakness that you really feel you got to work on?
Yeah, I think my two biggest strengths are probably my hockey IQ and my ability to think the game, and then my skating. I think those are probably the two biggest parts of my game. And I think when those two are going and are sharp, that's when I'm playing at my best. But I mean, I don't like to say I have any weaknesses, just kind of areas to improve. So yeah, that's just kind of areas I think I got to improve in.
Fair enough. Is there a Michigan player, previous player, that you look up to at this point in time of your life and in your career?
I think probably Quinn Hughes is one guy.
Okay.
I know the family pretty well, so he's kind of someone I've always followed and kind of always watched how he's doing wherever he's been.
I'm glad you brought that up, Owen. This is unscripted, by the way. So I'm doing some research on you last night, and help me out, make sure I have the last name right. Dan Ninkovich?
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So the story is, for those of you watching, Dan was a gentleman from Oakville, Ontario, runs a development skills facility. Am I right? Am I accurate in that, Owen?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he got a text from Quinn Hughes one night and said, Owen's going first overall, just watching you play at Michigan. Reaction, what did that mean to you?
Yeah, I think when I found out, it was pretty special. Pretty cool, especially coming from someone, like I said, who I look up to and have a lot of respect for.
What do you envision things will be like? It's unfortunate you guys won't be able to be in person for the draft. What are your thoughts on that? What do you think it's going to be like when it finally gets here, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably going to be a bit hectic. I got a big family, so I think there's going to be a lot of people there, and it'll be nice to have it with all the people there, where I think in a normal draft you probably wouldn't be able to have everyone. So yeah, I think just it's going to be hectic and kind of busy the whole day, and then obviously really exciting.